Hey YouTube. So I'm going to do a video on the iPad. A lot of people have done it and it's interesting to hear what people think. Um, yeah, so I thought I'd put my thoughts out as well. Obviously it's a very, it splits people, this device. The opinions are very mixed. You either love it or you hate it or you're in this wait and see sort of mode. I've gone straight to the hate it sort of category. I cannot stand that device. You know, with Apple stuff, it's either a love or hate thing with me. You know, there's a lot of things I do love. There's a lot of things I think are brilliant that Apple do. Like, I love OS 10, and I've had, what, 8 or 9 iPods in the past, and I really love my iPod Touch at the moment. It's a brilliant device. I've actually got, this is my second iPod Touch, that's how much I like it. I mean, I've got the other one here, that if anyone wants to buy it, please tell me, because I could do with selling that. I'll just put that back down. So, you know, there's a lot of things I do like about Apple. The hardware's nice. It's not my, you know, like the MacBook Pro. I kind of regret buying this, but it's a nice piece of kit. So, yeah, iPad even. I absolutely hate that thing with a passion. I cannot stand the device. I don't see the point of it. Um, I like what it could have been. You know, I think if it wasn't running iPhone OS and, you know, it run a full OS, you know, like a full Mac OS 10 version, it didn't have the limitations of iPhone OS and all that, a few more features on the hardware, it could have been a brilliant device, but I'm not a fan. So, first of all, let's say hardware. What don't I like about the hardware? 1 second. Apple. Apple are clearly going after the netbook. Apple are constantly bashing the netbook for whatever reason. You know, they call them like cheap computers, you know, and they say they can't build a cheap computer and all that bullshit. But it's just, I find it hilarious that it's going to be about 350 quid. Let's assume it's about 350 to 400 quid for the base model of an iPad. This thing costs, what? I don't know, it's about 200 quid. It's not at all a bad laptop. It's rock solid. I could throw this downstairs, it'd still work. It's a decent piece of hardware. It's got a beautiful screen, and the keyboard not the best it could be. But you know, for what it is, this is a brilliant piece of kit. This netbook, and you know, Apple want to destroy the netbook. So there's a few netbook features you've got to carry over to this tablet device. One being USB ports and expansion. You know, like a SD card slot, USB ports, microphone in out and all that stuff. Not some shitty proprietary iPod connector. We don't want this. We want this. You know, what the fuck? So that's one thing. It's a pretty minor thing for some people, and yeah, I'd say it's pretty minor, but why? Why? Can you imagine how cheap it would be for them to just put a few USB ports on there or an SD card slot? You know, it wouldn't cost them anything. Next thing, they use micro SIM. Instead of standard SIM cards, they use micro SIM. Why? What need is there for micro SIM? What is the benefit of micro SIM over a standard freaking SIM card? I can't think of one. It's just another, it's like, instead of using full-size DisplayPort on this MacBook, they use mini DisplayPort when there's absolutely no reason for mini DisplayPort, apart from charging you 15-20 quid for a freaking cable. I mean, if you've ever seen a full-size DisplayPort connection in real life, it is the same, you know, height, it's just a little wider. There is no need for mini DisplayPort. Next thing, it's not widescreen. Another thing that is pretty minor, and I don't think it'd stress me out too much if I had the device, but I just found it hilarious that they were showing this thing with movies and all this stuff in widescreen and having these like black bars like the size of this iPod Touch laid down at each end, which is just ridiculous. Why not widescreen? I mean, they were the first people, they was the first company to put out a laptop with a widescreen, and now they're going back to 4:3. I mean, even a freaking iPhone or iPod Touchy screen is wider than the iPads. I don't get it. I mean, otherwise though, the IPS display is pretty fantastic from what people are saying. So, you know, there's not wrong with the display type or anything. There's not wrong with the touchscreen. You know, you know the touchscreen is going to be fantastic on that. But why 4:3? Software. I touched on this at the start. I can't understand why it's running iPhone OS. Let me go back to the netbook. And I know people are going to disagree with this. because it splits people this bit. But netbook, this thing runs full Windows XP. You know, I can multitask, I can run Flash, I can install any application I like. I've got a full desktop OS. Anything my full-size PC could run, this thing can run. You know, iPhone OS, you know what? It's a good OS. It's brilliant. It's very well made. And it's got a great user interface for touchscreen devices. But for something that's going after a netbook and something that they show off using iWork for for iPhone OS and all these things, like full proper productivity applications. Why not? iPhone OS doesn't make sense. I don't get it. No, I don't know. I just don't get that. Maybe in the future they will expand iPhone OS so that it can multitask and it can run Flash and all these things. But at the moment, it's too young for a device like that. It can't run. Oh, I just don't understand it. Now, kind of touching on that, I can't understand why. Well, it was always going to have the custom Apple chip. That was always on the table. That's what the rumor had always been. It's going to run a custom Apple chip, CPU. But I can't understand why, with Intel's new, the new Atom that fits in a mobile phone for fuck's sake, why they couldn't have just slimmed down OS 10, put an Atom in there, a proper full size, full good amount of RAM, and maybe just tweak the user interface. Because to be honest, how hard would it be to just make things a bit more touch friendly on OS 10? I don't know. I don't think it would be very hard, to be honest. It'd take them time, but it wouldn't be a very difficult task. Just make things a bit bigger, It's already pretty good for multi-touch. You've got the trackpad with pinch out and pinch in. They've got that perfected. I don't understand it. Multitasking is important. A scenario for you. I'm going to sign in. They show off iWork. And let's say you're doing a presentation in iWork. Let me just open up Firefox. Let's say you're doing a presentation in Firework or something, and you want to pull information from the web while checking notes that you've got written down in the Notes app. So you go in, you open up, you start doing your presentation, and you think, all right, I need to switch to the browser. So you're going to have to save it, quit iWork, go over to the browser, launch it, let your page load up again, copy your information, close the browser, go over to iWork, paste whatever you need. Oh, I need to check my notes. Close iWork. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. That's just one. That's something they were pushing a lot. iWork. And that's just one example of where that fails. So I'm just going to launch up a few apps. And it's pretty snappy, this thing. It's maybe an Atom CPU, but it's pretty damn fast. I say that while I'm waiting for it to load. So I can on the netbook I can type away in Word, blah 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 blah. Oh, I just want to go over to the internet. Alt tab. Oh, I'm in Firefox. Oh, how hard was that? I don't know. I hate the thing. Can't see the point. I don't see the point at all. It runs everything this can run. So why not just get this? Something that'll actually fit in your pocket, for fuck's sake. I don't know. I just think it's a complete waste of time. And I agree with most people. I think after a few generations of it being shit, it'll be awesome. They'll finally add Flash, they'll add multitasking, they'll do all this. It's like with the iPhone. It started off really wank, the iPhone, didn't it? I mean, no apps, pretty limited for a phone. And then they added copy and paste, then they added apps and all these features people wanted. It just took them, a few years, for fuck's sake. I don't see the point. Tell me what you think. I mean, I'm going to stick with this. This thing's brilliant, but the iPad, no.